Hello and welcome back to the Motivating Force podcast. Joining me today we have Josue, an aspiring Marine Corps officer who is finishing up his bachelor's in criminal justice and also finishing up ROTC. And myself, Justin, a motivational speaker who's always more than happy to share all of our wonderful ideas and topics with you guys.
This week we actually have a pretty interesting topic. We're going to be talking about the Baader-Meinhof phenomenon and correlating it with the law of attraction. Sounds like two completely different things, but when I found out this topic, it sparked something in my head that I was like, I can tie this in with the law of attraction. And I'm going to break down what the Baader-Meinhof phenomenon is real quick. It's actually described as after the first time you learn a new word, phrase, or idea, you see that word, phrase, or idea again within 24 hours or shortly after. Sorry about that. So like when you start learning about certain things, or you get a new car, you get a new motorcycle, whatever, you slowly start to see an increase in that subject or car or motorcycle around your vicinity more and more as time goes on. I know when we got motorcycles, we started seeing motorcycles everywhere, right? I got a red car, I'll see red cars left and right. That's all due to this Baader-Meinhof phenomenon. And why is it called Baader-Meinhof phenomenon? So it was actually named after an incident in which the reader, Terry Mullen, was talking to a friend about the once notorious West German Baader-Meinhof gang. So we're talking about gangs here, right? And the next day, the friend referred Mullen to an article in that day's newspaper in which the left-wing terrorist organization was mentioned decades after it had any reason to be in the news. So it's one of those things that he just happened to be talking about it, and the next day, it's in the newspaper. For no reason.
And it's something that wasn't even relevant anymore.
It's like one of those things that we kind of brush off as, the FBI's watching my phone. Like we're talking about like couches, and then I start getting Instagram tags and, ads for couches or furnitures. It's kind of like that, but it's more of a breakdown of how your brain works. And it's really interesting, like a phenomenon, how we talked about like the Mandela effect before, that it's more of how your brain comprehends things as opposed to the world being like the Matrix and it's like aligned that way.
So is it more of like that selective thinking or manifestation? Like I can already see how this is going to tie into the law of attraction, but is this like a reality? Like are these things actually increasing around you, or is it just that you pick up on them more?
Come on. I mean, of course not. It's that you're clearly picking it up more. Because the way that your brain is like wired, it's wired for like patterns. It picks up on the pattern. So you had no reason to notice all of these red cars or these motorcycles, right? Until you got one. Now that you have one, it's fresh in your brain. Your brain's like, oh, look, there's another thing that looks like what you have. Or here's a word that you just learned about, and now you're hearing it everywhere because other people use it. But it's also because you just understood what it means now. And now you're going to be more keen to hear about it. Or it's going to be popping up like, oh, okay, remember that thing you just learned a couple days ago? There it is again. Be interested in it. I just think it's really like cool, the breakdown of like the mind. It's really interesting. But there's also other terms for it instead of just the Baader-Meinhof phenomenon. It's called the frequency illusion. And that was coined by Stanford linguist Arnold Zwicky. I can say that word.
Very good.
So essentially, the frequency illusion is a perception that something you've been thinking about or recently learned all of a sudden seems much more frequent in your environment than it was before. So it's what we're just talking about right now. I just broke it down. But this was the interesting part to the frequency illusion, and I think answers your question a little bit better. There's two parts to the frequency illusion. And that's the one part is a perception of increased frequency. So it's thinking that it's becoming more popular or that there's more yellow or red cars popping up everywhere. And the second part is a confirmation bias. So now you're trying to tell yourself that now that I have said thing or said knowledge, it just didn't happen this much before. So now that I know this thing or have this thing, now that's the reason why it's gaining popularity. Like, clearly there were red cars before, but now that I have one, I'm seeing them everywhere, and it just didn't happen this much before. That's the confirmation bias.
Okay, so like that. So because you got a red car now red cars they must be a popular item now because more people are buying them. When really that's not the truth. It's that there were that many out there before.
Yeah, it's my brain telling myself like, yeah, okay, it's possible that the red cars were there, but now there's just more of them.
So you believe it to be more popular.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of scientific papers about the frequency illusion as opposed to, the Baader-Meinhof phenomenon, just like there's journals and papers on like multiple dimensions and alternate universes as opposed to the Mandela effect.
Right.
It's just one has a catchier name and the other one's more of like that scientific field of study and really breaking things down.
So is there kind of like, because I'm trying to think like, how do we use this to our advantage, knowing that this is out there?
Yeah.
And I can definitely see how you're starting to tie this into the law of attraction, because that's pretty much how you can use these like frequencies and whatnot to benefit yourself.
Yeah.
More so.
I mean, the whole concept of the law of attraction and the reason why, like, I wanted to kind of make this like little fact or like topic relevant and positive towards people's lives and the people that are listening to this, because the law of attraction, it's the belief on ideas that people and their thoughts are made of pure energy, and that the process of like energy attracts energy. Like energy attracts like energy. So positive attracts positive, negative attracts negative.
That's not how magnets work, though.
No.
Okay.
But this is pure energy, remember.
Right.
And that's so positive attracting positive is a way that people can improve their health, wealth, and personal relationships. That's the whole overarching description of the law of attraction, and seeing how this phenomenon or frequency illusion, you want to call it, is already implemented in everybody's brain. Like, that's how everybody functions. And don't tell me it's wrong, because I'm sure everybody has some kind of example, even if it's down to, like the Instagram ads or the Facebook ads. Come on.
So
everybody has
like
an example.
This ties into human nature.
Yes, the frequency illusion part, because like I said earlier, that's just the way the brain works. It grabs onto those patterns, the things that are new to you, and then it starts looking for those things around you, even if you don't want to believe it with that confirmation bias. So when we start using the law of attraction, and if you start putting out that positive energy, those positive affirmations or different things to bring up your self-worth even, your brain's going to be more keen to pick up on other positive affirmations or positive events around you. So it's almost like, what was your example?
So the way I saw it was like with the whole manifesting thing and bringing those things forward is because when you brought this idea up to me and I was thinking about it and looking into the law of attraction, and a lot of people were saying how the law of attraction can be disproved.
Yeah.
And that it's only been around since the 1800s and everything. And to me, it was so kind of like, y'all are stupid.
Yeah.
Because the law of attraction has been around since religion's been around.
Yeah.
Because, come on, have you ever heard the term there's power in prayer?
Mm-hmm.
What exactly is prayer doing for you in a human nature sense, in a scientific sense? And that's that manifestation of ideas. Because if you're praying, the majority of the time you're praying about either pushing bad things away from you, like repenting from things that you've done because you want to change, or it's, can I get this into my life? Can I get this into my life? And it's bringing that attraction towards you.
Yeah. But I think that's one thing that like kind of puts people off, is that we call it the law of attraction when it's not a real scientific law. This isn't like actual science, but that is one thing that kind of rubbed me the wrong way when looking into it, because yeah, it does sound like the law of motion or the law of gravity. The law of attraction isn't scientific, so why should it have any credibility? But the way that you just broke it down, like, this goes back hundreds, thousands of years, and we just have to find a different way to get people to understand that.
Right. Well, because it's not a scientific law, it's a motivational speaking law.
There you go. But I think it still has that credibility that it should deserve. If you start putting out those, like if you go to a job interview, what's the first thing you do? You're going to sit in your car and you're going to pray that you're going to get this job.
You're going to hype yourself
Even
up.
if you're an atheist, you're going to sit there and go, please let me get this job. Or like you just said, you're going to hype yourself up and you're going to like try to put yourself in a better mentality to get the end result, which is the job. So applying that with the Baader-Meinhof phenomenon, like if you just start telling yourself those little things, it's going to stick in your mind until you eventually get that thing.
Yeah, that's great, man, because like I know we've already had a conversation on like positive mental attitude, and that's kind of more of a general blanket for like this type of conversation. Because today, coming in talking about Baader-Meinhof and the law of attraction, this is like taking that PMA and making it specific.
Correct.
Towards the things you want. This is making it applicable to your life, and it's a very real thing to use. And it is hard to say when people try disproving it, because it's like, think about the placebo effects that they use in the medical field. A lot of things are actually cured by using a placebo pill.
Yeah.
They use sugar pills. You can heal your body off of taking a sugar pill, and it's got nothing to do with the sugar in it.
Yeah. I can't remember the guy's name that basically is like the one known for the law of attraction. He never used the term law of attraction, but I believe he had pneumonia or something like that. But he overcame it, or overcame the pains from those things, from that illness, because he started horseback riding, and then had a lot of pain in his groin. No, I'm kidding. He started getting like that overwhelming sense of joy and like positive energy about like how much fun he's having in this like hobby, that it's taken away the pain of the illness. And it's that mind over body kind of mentality. And when you brought up PMA, it's basically like keeping PMA about your life or about yourself. You know, it's not really going to hurt anybody. So
Right.
Why not continue to do that? Being more optimistic and positive about the things in your life will surely bring you more positives. But the correlation with the Baader-Meinhof phenomenon is that you'll just start noticing more of that positive energy instead of the negative stuff. And that's the whole drive I really wanted to push, because you're not hurting anybody with this.
Yeah.
You're
But
only going to better your life.
you know where I think I can see where a lot of people are fearful of that? And it kind of ties into, of course, the cultural norms we have today. And it's how we like to push responsibility onto something else or somebody else. We've gone away from being responsible for our own actions.
Okay.
So if somebody came up to you and said, hey, it's as simple as thinking about how great of a time you're going to have and you'll have a great time, people don't want to accept that, because they'd be afraid that if they don't have a good time, well, who do I blame for that?
Okay.
Yourself?
Yeah.
People don't want to blame themselves anymore. So to get away from, and it's kind of funny, because the law of attraction to me is it's a change of verbiage from the religious undertones that we've had over the last 2,000 years, and before that it was something else, right? Because back then we were a little bit more hardcore, and we actually sacrificed animals and sometimes humans.
Yeah.
But it was the same idea, right? Like, okay, well, if we do these sacrifices, we get these gifts and these offerings and this positive energy around us.
Yeah.
And then when religion came to the forefront, we got that. And then we want to push religion away because responsibilities.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to be accountable. So we changed the verbiage and we got more into the scientific community, and now it's called the law of attraction. And now we want to push that away for that same sense of accountability.
So then what do you think is going to be turning into? Or it's just going to be like, hey, everybody for themselves kind of thing? Because I don't want to think that way. I want people to, if you want to have a good day, then start off your day by telling yourself you're going to have a good day. It's that simple.
It's keeping away from the negative, right? Keeping that PMA going.
Yeah.
I think that we are going to come back full circle, and not in the sense of we're going to go back to sacrificing animals, and people.
But the human part.
but we are going to come back around, because human nature is what it is. And the only thing we do is we discover more about it. We don't create anything more about it.
Yeah.
We discover more about what it is. And I think with that understanding, we'll come back to understand that you can't change human nature.
Yeah.
We've gone through however you want to look at it, right? We're created in the image of God. That's a solid, written in stone fact. Or we've come from hundreds of millions of years of evolutionary process. How are you going to change that in a couple thousand years? You're not. So either way you look at it, whatever your stance is on the world, you're not going to change human nature.
Yeah.
So I think we will come back around to it. People will come back to accepting that we are who we are, and what the law of attraction offers, what PMA offers, and a lot of these studies scientifically with using the frequencies and everything, is these are keys to understanding human nature and using it to your advantage.
Well, yeah, that's a great point. But the whole thing that we're driving here for the people that are listening, because they're tuned in for a reason, they want to make this change, right? So if you're saying that their excuse is going to be, accountability, that they want to blame something else if they don't have a good day, then they're not ready to make that change yet. Because if they really want to start making that change to have a better lifestyle, to have that structured lifestyle, they want it to be in a positive direction, they want to start doing things for themselves, for their family, they need to be able to buck up and just even the little things. It sounds like I'm telling you to do so much, but just thinking about how good your day is going to be instead of, all this work is going to be miserable and, it's going to be such an overwhelming day. I'm going to hate it. It's going to be hot outside. Just go, hey, the sun's out. It's great weather. I got a job that I'm going to be able to do. I can support my family. I can support myself. I can get food. All these little things will end up making you appreciate the day that you have in front of you instead of being miserable about whatever it is you're going to be doing. And it sounds like I'm telling you a lot, but it's not a lot to do. And if you really are serious about making these changes, I think it should be simple enough to not blame it on something else. Don't be afraid to just act on it.
Yeah. And it's funny because I do have 2 little points on that. And the hardest part about it is that you have to mean it.
Yeah.
You can't lie to yourself up here. Yeah. So if you're going, oh, this is all a bunch of hippie shit and it doesn't work, but I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to have a good day today.
Yeah.
You're not.
You're not really. Yeah, you're kind of just brushing it off.
And that's the funny thing, because on the the flip side of that is it is that simple to say I'm going to have a good day. And it's funny because yesterday I had a customer come in, right? We looked at his car 2 days ago. He needs a radiator, a little small leak, not a big deal, but it was overheating. So he scheduled him to come in the next day when we can get the part. He comes in first thing in the morning. He was a nice guy, don't get me wrong. He wasn't being like an ass about it, but he comes walking in my usual self, just being the motivational speaker I am. I was all, good morning. And he looked at me and he goes, what's good about this morning?
Yeah.
Almost kind of rhetorical, right? And because he was there to spend some big bucks with us. And I was like,
I'm taking your money.
I was like, well, that's why my morning was good. But it was like, well, sun's out and you got a pulse.
Yeah.
And he was like, I guess that would make it a pretty good morning.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it would. Just the simple act of like, man, you got a pulse. You're alive. You're still here. The sun still rose this morning. Kind of the 2 really simple things. You still exist and the universe still exists.
Yeah. And I was going to say that too, that other people telling you these positives, once you like click at the start of your day or whatever it is, that that Baader-Meinhof phenomenon, you start telling yourself like, oh, it's going to be a good day, right? Then you're going to be more keen to grabbing onto when other people tell you, oh, good morning or have a good day or, little things like that, because that can go a long way as well. You don't have to really do it all day, 24 hours, like the whole time, just telling yourself, reassuring yourself, giving all this positive to yourself. The tie-in with that little like frequency illusion, that phenomenon that I wanted to throw out there was that other people are going to be giving off that positivity as well. And you're just going to be more keen to grab onto it. So other people telling you have a good day, it's going to have that same kind of effect. Where that guy was like, oh, wait, yeah, it is a good day, I guess. So then you're helping him realize it's a good day, whereas you're already having a good day.
Exactly. And that's where it pays to be nice.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't cost you anything and you can help an unlimited number of people with it, basically everybody you interact with. But yeah, I think that's the key of really taking advantage of these ideologies here. It's getting to really just enjoy more of the simpler things, because if you put yourself to kind of tune your dial there into that frequency of enjoying more of that simplicity, you'll find it. And when you find that, it kind of works in your favor of like compound interest, right? Because if somebody, if you're having a really bad day and somebody says good morning to you, you're all of a sudden not like, you're right, I'm having a great day. Forget that my cat died last night. Like, no, that's not going to happen, you know? But on that same sense where you get that, you're tuned into that frequency and you're getting in all that positivity. And the more and more people are being nice to you, the next guy up, in front of you holds the door open for you. You're like, oh, cool. This guy appreciates, notices that I exist. I'm here. People are saying good morning. People are smiling. You're going to be apt to start doing that same thing. It's going to come back around. And all together, by the end of the day, you had all those things compound together, and it will make your day better.
Yeah. And one thing that I really want to say, because I don't want people to latch onto this, I mean, we've talked about it before in toxic masculinity. I don't want those guys to be like, oh, but that's not a manly thing to be like, oh, good morning, happy energy, good vibes kind of thing. And I want people to get rid of that, because why be this macho man and think you have to have bad days all the time, because then you're just going to complain about it all the time. It's a downhill struggle, you want, or it's an uphill struggle. It's okay to have a good day. It's okay to have positive energy, positive vibes, whatever you want to call them. There's nothing masculine or feminine about these terms. We're just giving off positivity. You want to be able to have a good day. This whole law of attraction concept that we're talking about is that we want you to end your day with more positives than negative. We don't want you to have any overwhelming stress about all the negatives that happened in your day, because I'm sure you're going to have some negatives, even if you do those affirmations or tell yourself you're going to have a good day that we were talking about. I just want people to stop being so what is the term? It's not even sexually biased. It's
just don't be a hard ass.
Yeah.
I
mean, you can even be this big buff dude and have a good day. That's all we're saying. I just wanted to throw that out there. I didn't want this to be you mentioned it earlier, that the hippie stuff,
Yeah.
This isn't all sunshines and rainbows. That doesn't make you any less man.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just wanted to throw that out there.
No, I totally get it, man. Because that real world application also goes into if you guys listen to Monday's episode, right? If you're going out there, you're trying to do these scary things, these bigger things for yourself, being a better person, you're going to want to attract that positivity.
Correct.
Because if all you're going to listen to are the people shooting you down, how much further are you going to really push towards your goals and your dreams? You probably won't, I mean, you have the exception with the type A people who are going to be out there to prove a point. But at the same time, are type A people really going to be the happiest?
Yeah. They
really got to focus in on that to really get that happiness. And just getting into that proper wavelength. Like I said, forget the hippie stuff, forget the masculinity. And it has nothing to do with that. And it has everything to do with just accepting what the world has to offer. Because the world has a lot of negative to offer and a lot of positivity to offer. And if you want to be the same old person with the same old struggles, you want to identify yourself with your struggles, the world will give you plenty of opportunity to do that.
Yeah, you're just going to attract more and more struggles at that point, because then you're going to be more keen to noticing them.
Yeah. And if you want to attract yourself with growth and positivity,
opportunity,
and opportunity, I mean, the world will give you plenty of that. Matter of fact, we'll give you plenty of that.
Yeah.
And it's not only here on YouTube, but it's also on all of our social media platforms, man.
That is true. Facebook, Instagram, and Parler. Go check those out down in the description. We also have our buddies over at Vespertine Apparel. You can go check them out. Use that promo code TMF.
In all seriousness, it doesn't cost you anything to be happy. So for what we're putting out there this Wednesday, enjoy the rest of your week. Keep those positive vibes going. And until next time, you'll be able to catch more episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Sunday. Monday and Wednesday, we release new episodes at 8 a.m. EST. Sunday, we're really trying to push out some bonus content, usually around the noon hour. And until next time, go on and get